In this lesson, we're going to take what we know about writing direct variation equations, and now we're going to apply word problems or real life situations. So the first thing that's really important is this information right here. And what I want to point out is that it says y always varies directly with x. We're going to see that wording in our word problems. And so if we know that, it's going to help us know what is my x and what is my y. Another way we could see it, because we've talked that direct variation is the same thing as proportional, you might also see y is directly proportional to x. Same thing. Okay? So as we look at these word problems, when looking at the word problems, the first thing that's going to be really helpful, and I have to do this too, is we're going to label your x and y. We're going to label the x and y, the numbers that are x and y in the problem. Then we're going to find k. Then once we know k, we can write the equation. And then I'm going to add a fourth step. Once we write the equation, then we can use the equation. We can use the equation to solve for something else about the problem, for another value, similar to what we did before. Okay, so let's look at example 1. It says the cost for 5 batting lessons is $200. The cost of the lessons varies directly with the number of lessons. How much would it cost for 12 lessons? Okay, the second sentence is super important. That goes back to our y always varies directly with x. So when it says the cost of the lessons varies directly with the number of lessons, the cost, y, varies directly with x. Okay, that's really important. So let's write this down. X is going to be the number of lessons. Y is going to be the cost of our lessons. That's important because we have these numbers and it doesn't say x equals 5 and y equals 200. We don't know that, but now we do. So it says the cost for 5 batting lessons. So 5 is my number of lessons. That's my x. 200 is my y. That's important because now we can use that information to find our k value. And then it says, how much would it cost for 12 lessons? Well, 12 lessons, that would be another x value, right? Okay, so we've labeled it. Now we need to find k. If we know that for 5 lessons, it costs $200, then to find k, I can simply do 200 divided by 5. 200 over 5, which is 40. So it basically costs $40 per lesson. That's a cheap lesson. Okay, so we found k. Now we can write our equation. So our equation is y equals 40x. Okay, and so then our last step is to use the equation to solve. So now I'm going to take my equation and I'm going to plug in my 12 lessons, which we already know is our x value. So we're going to say y equals 40 times 12. And so how much does it cost for 12 lessons? It costs $480. And that's our final answer. So I just want to kind of, let's see, this was step 2, was to find our k. Step 1 was to know what our variables represent and to label. Step 3 was to write our equation, and then step 4 was to use our equation to solve. So maybe that will kind of help you see where we went. Okay, let's read the next problem. The number of sticks of gums varies directly as the number of packages. Really important that we find that sentence that tells us what varies directly with what. There are 36 sticks of gum in 2 packages. Suppose you have 5 packages of gum. Write and solve a direct variation equation to determine how many sticks you have. Okay? So So the number of sticks varies directly with the number of packages. Y varies directly with X. I almost wrote X. Y varies directly with X. Okay, so let's just write that down again just to see that we really have this. This is our step 1. X represents the number of packages of gum. Y represents the number of sticks of gum. So it's a little confusing because we got packages and we got sticks. Okay, so let's read the next sentence. There are 36 sticks. Okay, sticks is my Y. Packages is my X. Every time I have to do this. It doesn't make sense to me if I don't do this. Suppose you have 5 packages. Okay, packages is my X. Perfect. Okay, so now step 2, we're ready to find our K. So with 36 sticks for 2 packages, that's what we can use to find K. So 36 divided by 2, Y divided by X, is 18. Step 3, let's get an equation here. So if K is 18, it's Y equals 18X. And now step 4, we're going to use it to determine how many sticks with 5 packages. So again, 5 is our X value. So I'm going to plug 5 in for X. And so 18 times 5 is 90. So we have 90 sticks of gum. And it asked us to write an equation, so we actually have 2 answers that we need to identify here.